Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to integrate player building system into survival inventory. So you're going to start by just opening up your survival inventory project and also your player building project. And then we're going to start off in the survival inventory project. And the first thing we're going to do is go to settings, plugins, and search for DES. And we're going to enable Apex destruction. You'll see down here a restart button. You're going to need to restart the project quickly, so I'll be back once that's done. So once that's done, your project should open back up, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our player building system project, and we're going to migrate over the files. So we're going to right click on the folder here, and we're going to select migrate, hit OK, and then you're going to find your project, your survival inventory project. So for me, that's in here. Then you're going to find the content folder, select it, and then hit select folder. Once that's done, the files copy. If it says some files could not be copied, don't worry about that, it's fine. Then we're going to go back over to our survival inventory project, and we're going to go survival inventory, blueprints, then to third person character, and we're going to, I'm just going to put the tab there, we're going to add a new component. We're going to search for player building component, and we can compile that quickly. Next, we're going to go back to our showcase scene, and we're going to go to player building system, blueprints, and open up our building character. And we're going to copy two things from here. So we're going to copy the rotate mesh and the toggle building options, and we'll just copy, go to our survival game kit, survival inventory character, and we'll just paste those in like that. Next, we're going to find our left mouse button released, and we're going to get the player building component, drag out from it, and do left mouse pressed, like that, and connect that up to pressed. Next, we can compile that quickly, and then we're going to go to our survival inventory folder, blueprints, components, then player inventory component, and we'll go to the event graph. If you do have a warning here, we can quickly compile, go to that, and you can just delete this node. Then we're going to go back to our event graph, and we're going to create some new custom events. So the first one will be called client cancel interact, and the next one will be custom event. We'll call this client released custom action 1, and we'll do another one, and this will be called set build mode, and we want to create a new variable, and we'll call this build mode, and we can set that here. And if you drag the ball pin to the custom event, you can actually drop it on there and it will create a pin for us. Then we're going to select the event again, and we're going to set it to run on owning client, and we're going to tick reliable. Next, we're just going to go over to the begin play node over here, and we're going to drag out from third person character and do get building, and we want to select get building player building component. Drag out from that, do promote variable, and call it player space building, and we'll connect that up to here like that. Then we can go back down to our custom events here, and we're going to get that player building variable, and we're going to search for client interact like that. Then we'll copy and paste it again, and we'll do toggle build menu and connect that to there. Next, I'm going to find the server custom action 1, which is over here, and we're just going to move this down over to our other stuff so we've got some more space. And with that, we're going to drag out from is not valid and do branch, and we'll use our build mode bool and connect that to condition, and then we'll connect this up to our custom action here. Then we're going to get our player building, and we'll search for toggle build menu, and we'll make sure that open is ticked on. Next, we're going to create a new function, and this is going to be called deduct resources. And we're going to open that up, and we're going to select the input and add a new input, and we're going to set it to item cost, like that. We'll set the name to cost. Then we want to compile, and then we're going to do get cost, and we'll drag out from here, do a break. And from that, we want to drag from the item count 1 greater than, and drag out from the bool and do if, and connect that up like that. Then after that, we're going to copy this, paste it over here. Then we want to do a search for item. Connect, we're going to drag out from item 1 and do break. Then we'll connect row name to there. Then from item 1 count, we want to connect that up to here. Then we'll drag out from item and do client update inventory slot, like that. Then over here, we're going to drag out, and we're going to do a reroute node, not a return node, a reroute node. And I'm going to copy and paste this over here so we can connect it up. And I'll drag it out, and then I'll paste one up here as well. And what we're going to do is we're basically going to copy and paste this over here and connect that up. But now we need to change this from item 1 to item 2 count, and the same over here. We click the drop down, instead of item 1, item 2, instead of count 1, we want count 2, and we can keep going, copying, pasting this. This one we would change to item count 3. Then over here we'd do the same, item count 3 and item 3. I'm not going to go through and do each one of these because that would take a while, but you get the idea. You just keep copying and pasting and then moving these pins down to the next one. So once you've finished doing all of those, we want to create a new function, but we're going to duplicate this one. So we'll hit duplicate, and we're going to call this check resources, making sure that you spell these the same as me. So we're in our check resources function now, and we're going to delete the client update inventory slot. Instead, we're going to drag out and do an if. And if true, we just want to connect it up to here. And if false, we're going to do a return node. We're going to add a new output, and this is going to be a boolean, and this will be called return space value. And we want to leave it as false. So we're going to do exactly the same thing to each one of our copy and pastes. So delete the client, update, and connect this up. And obviously I get to the end of mine here, but if you've done it for all 7 of the items, then you'll have to do a few more. So I'm just going to connect that up like that. So once you get to the end, you won't have any more nodes to connect up, so we can delete these. Once we get to the end, we want to copy and paste our return node, and the top one we want to be return true, and over here as well we also want to connect this up to false and have it return true. Once that's done, we can compile. Next, we're going to go back to our third person character. So this is a character blueprint that came with survival inventory, and we're going to find the E input node, and we're just going to drag out from the player inventory component and do client cancel interact, and we're going to connect that to the released pin here. Then we can compile. Next, we're going to go back to our showcase, and we're going to go blueprints in the survival inventory folder. Then we want to go to other, and we want to search for item, and we want to open E_item categories. And we're going to press the new button, and we're going to create a new one called blueprint, and then we want to save. Then we're going to go back to the player inventory component here. You might need to compile, so we're just going to compile quickly. Then we're going to use the search, and we're going to search for use item. And in here, we're going to need to make some space, so I'm just going to drag this out. We can drag it out from here. So it should look a bit like this. I'm just going to double click on this line to get a reroute node so we can keep it tidy. And from here, I'm going to do get used item, and we want this one. Drag out from that, do item details, and drag out from item details out and do break. Click the drop down, and from category, we want to do equals, and we want to use this one. Sorry, not that one. Equals, and then we'll use equals enum, and we want to see if it's equal to blueprint. From that, we can drag out and search for branch, and we want to connect that up to the true pin here. We can click this arrow here to make this smaller. You can spend a bit more time obviously tidying this up, but I'm just doing it to be clear for the video. So from true, we're going to do set build mode, and we're going to set it to true. And then we're going to drag out from the bool pin, and we're going to search for set build mode. Then after that, we're going to do get used item, and we want the bottom one. Drag out from that, do client update inventory slot. And we want to set the set held item and connect that up. And then we want to copy all of this and paste it down here. But we want to untick build mode, and we want to, we actually need to add in something up here, so we're going to do that quick. We'll just drag out from here and do client select slot, and we'll connect used item to here. And we want to delete this node. Sorry about that, I got confused. And then we'll copy this node, delete this one, paste that like that. But this time we're not going to connect used item to it, and we're actually going to delete used item. Then we're going to select clear selection. So this will exit the build mode. Then we want to get our player building. Drag out from that and do select build type. And we're going to right click on this build type pin and do split pin. And in the build type row name, we'll do upgrade with a capital, hang on, upgrade, there we go. And we'll set the data table to our build part data. So it should be upgrade with a capital U. And then from there, we can connect this up to our branch down here. And that should, oh no, we've got one more change that we need to do. Down here, we want to copy and paste this. Copy and paste all of it. Paste it down here, and we want to connect the false pin from here up to here. And from that, we can compile. Next, we need to go back to Showcase, and we're going to go to Blueprints. We can get rid of this search. We want to go to Items, then Item Data, and we're going to add a new entry. So we're going to hit Add, and we're going to double click the row name. We're just going to call this Blueprint, like that. And we're going to select it, and we're going to set the name to Blueprint. You can go through and fill in all of this information when you want, but I'm just going to do it quickly. So we want it to be set to the blueprint category. We want it to be droppable, and we want the max stack to be 1. And we'll set the use text to build. Icon. I don't have an icon for the blueprint, so I'm just going to use the E icon. And the same for the world mesh. I don't have a mesh for it, so I'm just going to search for bag. But that all looks good, so we can save this now. So once that's done, we need to go back to our player inventory component, and in the search bar, we're going to search for get item count and open this up. Then we're going to select the return node, and we're going to change the name to count L1, all one word, so it should look like that. Next, we're going to go to the showcase and we're going to go to our player building system, blueprints, components, then player building component. And once we're in here, we want to go to the event graph and we want to find this section of code because we're going to need to make some changes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a custom event. We'll call this client set build master. And we'll add a new input, and this will be build master BP and object reference, and we'll name it build master. And we'll set the replicates to run on owning client, and we want to tick reliable. Then we want to create another one, custom event, and we'll name this server update reference. And we'll set this to run on server and tick reliable. And from that, we're going to drag out and we're going to do client update. Oh, you might have to compile for it to show up. Do client set, and then we want client set build master. We'll drag out from here and do get build master reference like that. And drag out from here and do set build master reference. So it should look like that. Next, we need to get a reference to our inventory. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to disconnect this part from here, and we're going to move this down here. So we're just going to be sort of reshuffling the order of these things a bit. So we're going to move all of this along over here, because we need to make space for this stuff here. And we'll put that in here and connect that up like that. Then make a little bit more space, dragging that over. We'll drag out from get owning player, and we want to delete this cast. From here, we're going to do cast to third person character. Connect this up like that. And from here, we're going to drag out and do get player inventory and select the inventory component, drag out and do promote variable. I'm going to call this inventory component like that. And we'll connect that up here. Then we're going to just go over to this part here, and we're going to again just drag it to make some more space. And we're going to search for server. Give me one moment. Client set. Client set build master. And we'll drag out from build master and do get build master reference like that. And then not forgetting, we need to go back over here and connect this up. Otherwise the system won't work. So then we can compile. Next, we're going to use the search. We're going to search for building trace. If I spell it right, there we go, building trace. And in here, we're just going to drag this out, and we're going to do an is valid like that. And drag out from input object and do build master. There we go. And if is not valid, we'll do server update reference like that. Then we can compile and go back to the event graph, and we want to find actually no, sorry, I'm wrong. We want to go to our player inventory component and go to our event graph in here, and we want to find the client line trace, which is somewhere here. Sorry about that. We'll just select it all and we'll move it down here so we've got some space to work with. I'm just going to bring up my reference over here quickly, and so we're going to drag this out to make a bit more space. drag this over here, and we'll do get client hit. We're going to right click on it and do split struct pim, and we're going to drag out from actor, and we'll do a cast to master cast to resource, cast to master resource. There we go, and we can connect that up to here. And if true, we want to close gate, and if false, we want to connect this up to the stuff back here, like that. And then down here, we want to drag out from false. Actually, we want to get player building, and we want to search for client interact, and we want key down ticked, and we connect this to false and this to back up to here, like that, and then we can compile. Next, we're going to create another custom event, and we're going to call this building space placed, and we're going to add a input, and we're going to set this to item cost, and from that we're going to drag out, and we're going to do deduct resources, and drag out again and do client update inventory, and we want to drag out from inventory and do get inventory, like that, and then you can compile. Next, we're going to go back up to our begin play over here. We're going to drag these out to give us a bit more space. We're going to drag out from here and do event timer, and we want set timer by event, set the time to 1 and tick looping, drag out from event and do custom, and we'll just do update grids, like that, and we want to do search for get all actors of class, and set the class to grid, and we want the master grid. Then we're going to drag out from out actors, do promote to variable, and call this grids, and that should be good like that. And then we're going to go back down to our client trace, and we want to get our grids, and we connect that up to here, and we can copy the variable. We want to go all the way over to here to server line trace, paste that in and connect that up to here, and then we can compile. Next, we're going to go over to here, and we're going to get our get building, and from that we're going to do get HUD, and from that we want to do left mouse released and connect that up to here. Once that's done, you want to compile and save. And now in the description of this video there will be a link to download a folder that you'll need to extract or unzip, and once you do that you should have a folder like this, which has some files in that we're going to paste into our project. So the first thing you're going to want to do is save everything. You may also want to make a backup of the project just in case something goes wrong. But then we're going to right click and we're going to use Show in Explorer. You can just right click on anything, and that will bring up our project here. So we want to go to the main project folder, which is content. So we've got our player building system and survival inventory. We're going to go to player building system and then blueprints, HUD, and in here we've got those files, and we want to get these files. And what we're going to do is, first thing we need to do is close the project because we don't want to do this while it's open. So I'm just going to close it, and then I'm going to copy the files from our downloaded folder, and I'm just going to paste those into our projects folder, and I'll say if we want to replace the files, we want to hit yes. So once that's done, you can reopen your project, and we'll continue from there. Okay, so now we're back in our survival inventory project, and there's a couple of things we need to do. So we need to go to player building system, we need to search for build _ part info. There we go. So we can open that up and we'll drag this down, and we want to add a new variable which we'll call cost, and we'll set it to item cost, like that, and then we can save. Once that's done, we're going to close this and we're going to hit the play, but we will get some errors, so like that. It might take a moment for that to pop up, so don't worry about that. But we're going to click on the building menu and we'll click on building options as well, and we'll hit cancel. So it will open up those files for us. We're going to have to quickly just go through and fix a couple of things. So you can see that we've got cost is red. We can just alt click it and connect up the correct one. If we hit compile, there we go, we should get a list of all the problems. You may have this or may not. If you drag out and do get inventory component, and it's basically just connecting up anything that's disconnected. So cost, we want to connect up to there. Count L1 will disconnect and connect to value. We'll do another compile and we'll click the next one. We'll go to the next one, get inventory component, and we'll connect this up to here and here. We'll delete this one and we'll disconnect cost, connect that up to here. I'll click this and we're almost done now. We can disconnect that cost, connect up. And all I'm doing to get rid of the red pins, if you don't know, is I'm just alt clicking them. So we can compile and that's all working now. Then we go to our building options and we'll just click the first one. We'll do get inventory component, connect that up and delete this one. And we'll just go through and quickly do the rest of these. And I'm just compiling after each time I do it, so it refreshes this list down here so we can see how many we have left. But it doesn't take long to go through most of them, as you can see. And the last two we have here, like that. So now when I compile, we haven't got any errors. We can close these out now and we should be able to hit play, and it might take a moment for it to load, but we're in our game and we've got no errors. So I'm just going to exit out. I'm actually going to turn off the save system quickly because we don't want that interfering with anything. So next we're going to just grab one of these items, copy and paste it, and we're going to change the selected name to our blueprint. And now if I hit play, I should be able to run over to it, pick it up, put it to a quick slot, and we've got our building menu here. And we should be able to build. We can, like that. We do have a slight issue where it's doing this, it's not rotating to face our character, but we can fix that. You may get an error. So I've got this error here, which can you open that up quickly when it pops up. Hit actor, check. Let's close this a second. Here. We want to, instead of get instigator, we want to do get owner, and we're inside the hit actor check macro, which is in here, there. And we're going to do get instigator, and we're going to connect that up to here. Then we want to compile. We quickly want to go back to our blueprints, components, player building component, and go to event graph, and we want to disconnect it from the owner here. We're just going to drag out and do get owner, like that. And now we can hit compile. Oh, we can delete this. Sorry, get owner, like that. Should say target as an actor component, and connect that up to owner and compile. Now when we jump in, we should have it working the way we want. And we'll select the foundation. You can see it's rotating, and if I exit out, we don't have any errors. So the next thing I'm going to show you quickly is the resources. So I'm going to go to the player building system, blueprints. We'll just search for it because I can't remember where it is. Resource, and we'll put in a tree resource like that. And we'll go to our master resource here. And basically we're going to change a few things in here. So we'll start by deleting these. So first we're going to open up the resource collected function, and we're going to highlight and delete this bottom part here, and we'll just get rid of that. And we're also going to create a new variable called count, and we'll set its variable type to integer. And we'll add another one, and we'll call this item, and we want this set to item s item, and we'll compile quickly. And all we're going to do is we're going to get our count, and we're going to replace it from this one. So we'll do that, and we'll copy it so we can do it quicker. And we're just going to go through and replace these along here. We're going to delete this, and we're actually going to drag out and do a set and connect this up like that. We'll connect this end to here, and down here we want to connect false up to here like that. So let me just double check that that's correct. Yeah, that looks right. Oh, we do want to disconnect these quickly. And we want to change this from building cost to just an integer. And then we can connect our harvested amounts. Actually here we want to delete this. We want to do count. And we'll connect that to here, like that. Then we can compile. And we're going to go to the event graph. Drag out from here, do get player inventory, or sorry, get inventory. We'll drag out and do add item like that. Oh, we actually want our resources collected here, and the collect amount is basically how many resources the character will collect from the resource. So I'm just going to set this to 10. You also probably want to click these little eyes on the variables, and I'm going to set the count to say 50, so our resource has 50 resources, and we'll connect that to add item. Then we're going to right click on this and hit split struct. Resources connects into item in count, and then we want to get item. Again, we're going to right click split. I'm going to plug item into item here. And for our default value, I'm just going to set this to apple, because I don't have a wood item in survival inventory, so we're just going to make it so we get apples. The last thing we want to do is drag out from here and do drag out from here, do client update slot or inventory slot. Connect that up like that, and that should be good, so we can compile. So now if you want, so we have a rock resource and a tree resource. If we wanted to change the item or the amount that the rock has, we're just going to open up the rock resource, and you can see here we've got our item variable where we can change the item ID to the item we want to use. We can also set the count. And again, the same, if I open up the tree resource, we've got those same variables, so you can customize it. But we've got our tree in here, and if I hit play, you should be able to run up to it. hold E and collect our resource, and if we let go, we cancel it. We can check our inventory, and we actually didn't get the item, so that might be an issue. The issue is probably if we search the content folder, we'll do item list, item data. Oh, there we go. So the ID needs to be the exact same as the row name here. So for Apple, it's Apple_01. So I'm just going to go to our master resource here, select the item, click the drop down, and I'm going to call this Apple_01. I think that's what it was. Yeah. So compile, hit play, and now when we do it, we should get our Apple. So we can open it up, and you can see we've got our Apple item now. So if you don't get the item, just double check that you've got the right row name. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully you found this useful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and don't forget to join our Discord and subscribe. So thank you for watching.